Welcome our new sponsor to the Man at 50 podcast, Scars and Stripes Coffee Company. They empower veterans to build their own business using their e-commerce platform. When you purchase from Scars and Stripes Coffee, you are buying from a veteran, and your purchase directly impacts the men and women who have served our country. Do more than say, thank you for your service. Order today and empower a veteran. Use vet code RICHARD at scarsandstripescoffee.com. That's scarsandstripescoffee.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the Man at 50 podcast. I'm your host, S. Richard, author of the book Man at 50, A Journey of Crisis, Revelation, and Survival. So let's get started on the Man at 50 podcast, a podcast that is for you, your little person within you, your hopes, your dreams, and hopefully a new plan for the future. Welcome back, everyone, to the Man at 50 podcast. I'm your host, Brad Richard, and we are back with another episode and a awesome guest. It is Sunday afternoon, and our guest today is Carol Harper, and she is a author. She does speaking, teaching, and she is part of an exciting TV show, as well as she has her own publishing company. So very busy lady. And welcome, Carol, to the Man at 50 podcast. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, doing good. Trying to wake up a little bit.
Mhm.
I had that night shift schedule going on, and then had to kind of bounce back into my reality. So, but yeah,
Exactly.
doing good. Now you're in Texas as well, right?
Yes, sir. I'm in Lancaster, Texas.
Okay, well then, yeah, it's super hot for both of us then, because we're both in the melting pot of Texas. It's been so hot down here, and
Ex-
I'm telling you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, today we want to just get to know you a little bit better, and the the book that you sent me, and the book that we want to talk about today, and then we're going to talk about your other books that you have done in your publishing company.
Okay.
But the name of your book is the Life of a Damaged Person,
hmm
and there it is right there. She is holding it up right there. It's beautiful. Did you design the cover of that?
No, iUniverse did this one. This was my first book, and
Oh,
this
okay.
taught me the rest. It taught me my lessons.
Oh,
So this
okay.
is the first one, but it's mine. I wrote it, but they just published it.
Okay. Yeah, the cover is really
Awesome.
awesome. It
Yeah.
it drew me right in, and so that they did a really good job with the cover. Um,
Yes.
can you tell me a little bit about? I mean, obviously, with a title like that, um, can you and wherever you feel comfortable, sharing. Some people are willing to share everything, and some are not. So, based on your level of comfort and your level of ease, um, can you kind of explain the damaged aspect of the title of that book? Tell us a little bit about your story, struggles and challenges that you went through, and it'll to inspire the listeners and others as well, and obviously to pick up your book. That's
Exactly.
we want them to do that. So, if you want to just take it from here and kind of explain that.
Well, first of all, I wrote this book because pain, rejection, physical, mental, and emotional abuse that I went through. And when I was going through all those things in my past, I felt like I was so alone. When nobody, I was like screaming out for help from all these unstable relationships that I was in. But, of course, it starts with us first. So, but I was asking for help, but I always end up in the same spot that I was in. So, the reason why I wrote the book, The Life of a Damaged Person, is inspire others to know that you're not alone out there. Whatever trial, tribulation that you may be going through, you're not alone. There is hope in the storm of life, and God is the strength of our life. and he allows us to make it through every situation. It's something in the book, is the introduction. It talks about the test. You already know when you have a test, you're in class or you're online and you're sitting down, especially let's say classroom, and you're sitting around and the teacher done passed your test on paper. The teacher cannot take the test for you. You have to take the test yourself to see what kind of knowledge that you have. So that is why when I was in my testing, God was quiet. He couldn't take the test for me. I had to walk through the test. I had to take the test. So the teacher was silent at that time. And when I was taking the test, it was he, God, who guided me through the test, which was his amazing love. All right?
That's incredible. Uh, when you said that, as far as repeating the patterns and the toxic relationships,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you also said abuse. I had that as well growing up. Um, when did that start? Did that go all the way back to when you were real young, or was it from the family, or was it outside of your family?
Well, we all have dysfunctional families once upon a time,
Right.
but I'm trying to leave family out of everything. So, but I can only speak of myself. It was a pattern. It was a
Hmm.
family pattern of abuse, physical abuse, domestic abuse, and I took on that same pattern. You understand? As
Hmm.
making bad choices, making it was like the same soul tie. It was like I was soul tied to that abusive relationship. So
Right.
I can
Okay.
only speak of myself. I try to leave my family out.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do as well. Right.
yeah.
Even though they're a huge part of my story and my journey, um, they some of my family are still in the same place they were when I was young. There hasn't been a lot of growth in their life, and I just I'm separate from that. I have to separate myself from that, and because I'm on a completely different path than uh,
Exactly.
than a lot of them, and
Exactly.
that's just it's a choice thing. So
Exactly.
I can understand that, and for you for you the turning point, or to breaking the cycle, or breaking the negative patterns that were so hard on you, that did damage you in probably multiple ways, as my challenges did me. um,
Mm-hmm.
the turning point for you was finding Jesus, and finding God in your life, and connecting. Was it connecting with God, and or connecting with other people that were also connected, with the Lord? Did you find
Actually,
strength in others?
Actually, it was both. But first, it's a personal relationship with him.
Uh-huh.
After in 19, I think it was February 14, 1997, that I really gave my life to the Lord. And that was at an early, I first did it at 12. I gave my life to the Lord at 12, but I didn't really understand what I was doing. So I
Right.
went 1997, February, I think it was 24th, 1997, I gave myself to the Lord in Smackover, Arkansas. So, and then it's been a process. I was a babe. I had to go through the process, and still the bad relationships was there. But as I was it felt like I couldn't breathe. I was like, when I was in El Dorado, Arkansas, it felt like I couldn't breathe. And I had 2 kids at the time. So I had to be snatched up out of the situation that I was in. And I moved to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I began to breathe. But of course, it follows you, and the person follow you, and the same pattern happened again. You disconnect, divorce, but you hook up with the same person. So spirit and the same way of doing things, the abuse. But God played a big part of my survival. If it wasn't for him in my life, I don't know where I would be, because I went through so many beatings, so many emotional trauma. Emotional trauma is the worst trauma that you could go through. So, and I don't blame the abusers. I blame myself, because when I made a choice to step out of the situation, my life begins to look up for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I took one day at a time with God's strength. And then I started fellowshipping with the church, and the church, which the church meaning a group of people, because the church is in us, the Holy Spirit. So my life began to turn around, and I'm stronger and better now than I ever have been. And God is elevating me to become into that beautiful butterfly
Mm-hmm. That
that
beautiful
you see
butterfly.
on
That's on the book.
the book, and it talks about a cocoon. Um, it starts out as a caterpillar, and it ends up like a butterfly. So that is what our lives are like. It's
Mm-hmm.
transitioning into a beautiful butterfly. We go through whatever we go through, but that is life.
Mm-hmm. And from, my perspective, and I don't know if you've listened to some of the other episodes, the previous episodes. I know that you've went through my book as well, so you kind of know my story a little bit.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
just for a minute, I want to kind of touch base on a couple things that you said there, as far as um, you know uh, finding finding God, or God being um, your salvation and turning your life around. Um, from my perspective, yeah, and I want to be careful, because what they say, you don't want to talk about religion or beliefs or whatever, and so, but I mean, I'm not really that scared about that topic, and we may have similar views, but they may not be exact. They may not be
Exactly.
completely in line. Um, when I was listening to you describing what changed and what changed for you, um, and I hear that you give credit to God, and I have a slightly different perspective, but it's one and the same. Um, I think it's important that you give credit to yourself,
Mm,
because from my perspective, the light within each of us is
mm-hmm.
indeed God. And as children, I teach my clients about going back to move forward. And when I do mentoring, and I'm helping them go through some stuff, I take them back to their
Mm-hmm.
childhood, because so many aspects of our adult life is connected to our childhood. um, um, Positive and negative. Okay, and there's a lot of stuff back there that isn't, if it isn't resolved and if it isn't taken care of, it will repeat itself. Like you were saying, it'll repeat itself, and it'll continue to just keep us in a very negative place, very dangerous place, and a
Mm-hmm.
very unhappy, existence, where you hear people all the time. It's like, well, I'm really just not happy with my life, and I don't know what I'm missing, but I'm missing something. And from my perspective, going back is essential. And you know, God was God was within you, and your light has always been within you,
Mm-hmm.
and you he gave you the free will to make those choices, but
Exactly.
he also gave you the free will to make the changes. And you helped yourself, and you made a change in your life, because you began to see your little Carol, your little person, your the light, the essence of God that we all have as children. And so, you know, um, that's just it. it's the same perspective, but it's slightly different.
Okay.
And I see people's light. You know, you've heard the phrase or the statement, um, the the light of God is in the eyes of children.
Mhm.
And children, when we're younger, we show that light, that spark, that light within us, and the light of our Creator is present. People can feel it, they can see it. Eyes wide open, and we're dreamers, and I can do this, and I'm invincible, and we just think we can conquer the whole world. And then life, society, other people
Mhm.
throw mud on that light, and really just kind of beat us up as we're growing up and as we're going through life and stuff. And when we get to adulthood, um, I've experienced it myself, and I've spoken with and worked with other people,
Mhm.
um, where they've lost that completely. They've
Mhm.
they can't see through the mud anymore. They don't. Um, they're not attracting anything positive in their lives because
Exactly.
their light is out. It's
Exactly.
like flip your switch. I mean, um, life will turn those switches off.
Mhm.
And they'll continue to do that.
Mhm.
Um, and so I when I hear your story, I'm proud of you. I see that God is in your life, but from my perspective,
Mhm.
you are the creator of your life,
Amen.
and you have made better choices because you started to care about yourself,
Exactly.
and you and God together said, Carol, you're amazing. You're
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
You don't deserve this.
you.
And
Mhm.
you have a bigger calling. And now you're reaching out and helping other people because you found yourself. And,
Exactly.
you know,
That's awesome. I love it.
yay. So
I love it.
that's just kind of my take on your book and on the overall
Mhm.
message.
Mhm.
Um, and you can kind of fill in, some other things there, or other points. I mean, how has your life changed since you made that transition and started to go in a different direction with it? I mean, just tell the
Well,
listeners some of the things you've experienced.
well, it's just like in the book, you saw different titles
Hmm.
and different areas. So everything that you saw, not everything, but attacks on us, that's in there. This is a poetry book. Attacks on us, a mother's love, uh, letting go. I mean, all of these things, I was going through a transition at this time. It stops today. I love that one. I
Hmm.
made the choice to say it stops today. And giving when you don't understand. I mean, all of these things, some of them mean something, but some of them is just the thought that came to mind. One day I had a piece, and I was just sitting. And who are you? That's one of the thing poetry in there. So basically, and reaching up to the sky when is my desire. Of course, heaven is what we're talking about, and beauty. It talks about beauty. So basically, some of these things in here are about my life, but the reason, practically, I tell everyone, don't try to see my life. See yourself in here
Hmm.
and grow from it. Grow from it. And the things that you see are if it don't apply to you, I always say let it fly. Only the things that you see yourself in this book. And also, it's an encourager. It's a motivator and say, hey, if she did it, I can do it too. Look where she is. Look what God's taken her. Look where she's heading to bigger and better things.
Hmm.
So that is my take on this book, The Life. And I'm working on part 2 of this. I wanted it finished on yesterday, but I have a lot more work. Part 2, I'm going to give the audience a little bit more of this damaged person. I'm not damaged no more, but I'm going to slowly give the audience as I feel comfortable to release the damaged person.
Cool. Well, we look forward to that, and we'll have to have you
Yes.
back on a second time
Yes, sir.
for the sequel, right?
Yes.
One of my favorite poems that I read in your book,
Okay.
and I don't remember the title, but it children. It had the word the little children.
Children are precious in God's sight.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that was the one.
23.
Yeah, can you read that for the listeners to us
Sure.
and for the listeners?
This one right here.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Said children are precious in God's sight. Children are precious in God's sight. All they want is to be loved. All they want is to be cared for. Children are precious in God's sight. All they want is to have someone say, I love you. Jesus said in his word to suffer not the little children to come unto me. Jesus loves the little ones. Jesus cared for the little one, and so shall we. That's why children are precious in his sight.
Perfect. Yeah, that is so beautiful. And I kind of noticed about halfway through that, I could tell that you started to get just a little bit emotional right in the middle there a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just body language. It was just a slight little where you just kind of went, oh,
Because it's personal.
exactly,
It's
exactly.
personal.
But I
It's
think,
very personal.
but I think anyone can relate to it, and they can see their little selves. Okay, they can see themselves in that poem. And it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. As far as where do you find God?
Hmm.
Where do you find help?
Hmm.
You have to go within, and I think God resides
Hmm.
inside our hearts and inside that little person that we carry with us every day.
Exactly.
And because you're right, all they want is love,
Hmm.
and all they're wanting is acceptance,
Exactly.
and God is with them. And sometimes I think God stands with our little people and kind of looks up at us and goes, well, do you think they'll ever get it? Do you think they'll ever get it together? And they kind of have this conversation, our little selves and God, and they kind of wait for us as an adults to kind of get it together. Because it's like, well, God's got it, and our little people have it, and they're waiting on us.
Exactly.
And the my message that I convey to my mentoring clients and the people that I speak to, the reason why I wrote my book is that, like your poem said, the little children just want to be loved.
Yes.
And my message to all listening to my podcast and to you as my guest is, we need to love our little people.
Yes.
If
Exactly.
if they feel loved by us,
Hmm.
if we take full responsibility of them, and if we vow to protect them at all costs,
A cost.
they will not interrupt our lives or repeat negative patterns in our lives, but they will be on board with our hopes, our dreams, and our future. And they'll run with us to the future.
Hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
and they will gladly do that. Um, it's important to connect, with our little people, and
Right.
I certainly think you've done that,
Right.
with the help of Jesus and God. You were able to connect and feel worthy, and
Exactly.
and between you and God, obviously you found little Carol and you said, no, 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 you know, we're done. And I got this. I got this little
Exactly.
one. Let me take it from here. And
Exactly.
you're doing amazing things.
Thank you, sir.
So, um, do you have one last thing you want to say before we go to break? Because we're coming up on a short little sponsor break, and then when we come back, we want to talk about your other books and your
Okay.
publishing company when we come back.
No, I think I'm fine. I'll wait till the last to say something.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank
All right.
you.
Well, we're gonna take a short break, and when we come back, we will continue talking with Carol. It's Carol Poe Harper.
Carol Poe Harper.
Okay.
Harper is my maiden name.
Gotcha. Okay. So we are talking with Carol Poe Harper. She is a author, writer. She is a book publisher, and she is a co-host on a TV show. Is it out of the Houston area?
No, it's
Out
the
of the
TV show is in Mesquite,
in
Texas.
Mesquite, Texas. Okay,
Yes.
cool. So, and all of the links will be in the show notes for today's podcast. You'll be able to connect with her on LinkedIn and Twitter, and we'll get her website up there, and we'll have the links in the show notes so you can connect with her and get a copy of her book and find out more about what Carol is doing. She is doing a lot, and she is definitely showing her light to the world. And her and her little me, her little Carol are running like crazy, and they're making waves and doing great stuff. So
Absolutely.
hang in there, folks, and we'll be right back after a short break. This is the Man at 50 podcast, and I'm your host, Brad Richard. We'll be right back after a quick sponsored commercial. All right, folks, we are back with the Man at 50 podcast, part two. After our short little break there, we are speaking with Carol Poe Harper. She is a writer, author, speaker. She is a co-host of a TV show out of Mesquite, Texas, as well as she owns her own publishing company. So lots to talk about. We spoke about her book, The Life of a Damaged Person, and
Hmm.
that's her book and her story that came out in 2016, and we talked a little bit about that book in the first half. So this section, we are going to find out a little bit more about where you're going, what you're doing, Carol, and let's kind of start off with your publishing company. What's the name of your publishing company?
Carol's Publishing Company.
Carol's Publishing Company. All right.
Yes, sir.
And we were talking during the break. Tell the listeners how many books that you have published yourself.
I have published 13 books myself.
Wow. So you do like to write, that's for sure.
I
um,
do.
so 13 under your publishing company's name. Um, and then how many other authors are you working with, or that you have worked with in the past?
Well, I published 3, which is Marked for Life, Not Death by Bark Hickey. And you can get this on Amazon.com or you can order it from me, either one.
Oh, okay.
And this is Addiction by Scott Turner. This is very powerful. I love this one. It's an addiction. It's called Addiction by Scott Turner. And my
Wow.
other book is The Miracle Dog. And she's going to get me if I can't say her name right. Taljavia Davis. But they'll get the gist. You can find that on Amazon.com too. Miracle Dog, The Miracle Dog.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's 3. And I'm working on part 2 of The Miracle Dog for her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a great title. I'll have to check that out. So you can just it would be easier just to type in the title in Amazon, The Miracle Dog. Okay.
I will.
Yeah, because I won't remember how to pronounce her name either, but we can just go to Amazon and do that. So
I tell her every time, don't shoot me because I didn't get it right, your name right. It's hard. So
yeah, maybe she should
but
just
she
do it.
knows.
Yeah, maybe she should do initials.
I think so.
Yeah, you can have that conversation with her. But okay, cool. So that's three books that you have published for other authors.
Hmm.
I know you're working on a fourth that you're in the middle of.
Hmm.
Also, you're coming out with part two of The Life of a Damaged Person.
Exactly.
Is the title for part two of your story book? Um, is the title going to be the same, or are you changing it up a bit?
It's going to be the same, volume 2.
The Life of a Damaged Person, Volume Two. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and you're going to open up a little bit more and drop a few bombshells on the reader,
There
right?
you go.
There you go.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll give you a little bit more of me. I'll share a
Okay,
little bit more of me. Each time, each book will open up a little bit more of my life to keep you coming back and reading.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we look forward to that. Like I said, we'll have to have you back on when the volume two comes out for sure. Um, as far as the publishing company goes, do you have specific genres that you're publishing in your publishing company, or are you open to all forms?
I'm open to all forms. It doesn't matter. If you got it written down, you got it written down in Word document or even on paper, doesn't matter. My company can take control of it. We'll take it and we'll have your book published.
Okay. Now, in the publishing world, do you consider yourself like a hybrid publisher, or I mean, do your authors retain all their rights and you help them through the process, the cover design, the formatting, the manuscripts, and
Exactly.
that type of thing? Okay.
Yes. The reason why I got into publishing company is because, like I said earlier, it taught me a lot of lessons. So we as writers, we do all the work and the publisher get the money. So God led me down the path to help other people to keep control of their royalties. So I just flipped it.
Hmm.
What the publishing company would get, because if the book go sell good, we all break even. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I did that, so the authors can keep the majority of their royalties, because it's a lot of companies out here that takes advantage of us writers.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I've had several people. There's actually a couple of different people that I will probably refer to you specifically.
Hmm.
They reached out to me um, because they are just getting started. Like, I think they maybe are 10 or 15 pages into their manuscript. That's how fresh they are. Um,
Okay.
and they would be first time authors. They, I've never done this before, but I've always wanted to do it. And
Exactly.
all I can do is kind of inspire and encourage them and tell them what I've done. Um, I did self-publish my book, but I went through Outskirts Press for the
Okay.
formatting, the book cover design, the ISBN numbers, and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so because I didn't want to, I didn't feel comfortable taking on all that myself, and
Okay.
so I do have a couple of friends, a couple of people that have reached out to me, and what I'll do is I'll refer them to you as a place for them, to start, because
Exactly.
you have the resources to help them. So,
And thank you so much.
you bet. Remind me to, and they're and both of them are in Texas as well.
Oh, okay. Great.
So it'll be an
Awesome.
easy referral, and I'll send them your way, and maybe
Okay.
you can help them go from manuscript to cover,
Right.
and then go from there. So, um, another question I had, or one of the questions that I had, as far as the publishing company goes, what do you have packages, or how is it structured for the author with your publishing company?
Well,
What
I
options
have,
do they have?
it depends on How many words is in the document. It depends on how many errors that I have to correct. It depends on how long the time that I spend on it. And then when I add all that up, I try to have a link with my heart. You know what I'm saying? When
Hmm.
I add all that up, especially if a person that's really struggling with money or something like that, I try to help them out with it a little bit by bringing the price down, you know. But basically it's built upon the time that I spend on the manuscript totally, uh, the corrections that I have to make in editing, and all the other stuff that goes with it. That's how I charge. I have it written down exactly. I would
Hmm.
shoot it to the clients, and I would give them my introduction, my mission statement. I will give them everything that what my company consists of. And consultations are usually $50. $50 the first time. You know what I'm saying? Come in and we'll talk about it. And other than that, you know, basically I go in the leading of how I'm feeling them, you know. So if they're struggling with money, I'm sort of lingering. But if I know that they're not struggling with money, I go by the book.
Right.
I go exactly by the book. So
Now, now, once the books are published, do you, I mean, they get on Amazon. Do you offer like a Kindle version of the
yes,
books as well? Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. When I, and let me make this perfectly clear, I only deal with Amazon because Barnes and Noble are sort of tricky. You know, they got a lot of things going on. So I only deal with Amazon. When I release the book, I have the client to come in, and if they already have an Amazon account, they do all that necessary stuff with their bank account and all of that. They do that. And when I release it, I set it up and everything. I do it before they get here, but when they come, we set it up with them sitting with me right then and there. I don't need to know their information or anything. And when it's gone, it's out of my hands then. It's all on them. I have to order just like they order. If I want to order a book, I would have to go to Amazon. But they can go and do whatever they need because that's the control of having more control of your own book.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Exactly.
only deal with Amazon, and it is on Kindle and softcover.
Okay. Um,
Okay.
do you have a resource? Do you have a resource for audiobooks?
I have thought about resources, audio. A lot of my clients are asking me to go audio. The audio is coming in the making. It's in the making. It's
Okay.
coming because a lot of people are asking me for audio, but
Okay.
it's in the future. It's soon to come.
Part of I don't know if you knew this or not, but it's a little bit of value that I can at least share with you, and it hopefully would benefit you and your clients.
Okay.
Part of Amazon is it's a sub company of Amazon. It's called
Yes.
ACX, and they produce audiobooks for authors, or you as a publisher could reach out to them as well, and
Okay.
then get your clients' books to them. Um, they have narrators that are on that site. Some charge per hour, some charge per project, and some are even willing to do a profit share contract where they will share in the profits of the audiobook, but they will not charge to narrate it.
Okay. Okay.
And my audiobook, um, I did a profit sharing, a royalty share with the narrator, but my audiobook cost me nada.
Wow.
Um, and the gentleman that narrated mine, his name is Steve Stanzel, and he is on there as a voice talent. Um, he is the voice of HBO. He does all the HBO commercials,
Really?
the Dark Knight trailer, and so you would recognize his voice.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but he agreed to do mine with a royalty share. And so it's a great resource for authors who want
Okay.
an audiobook version,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also a great tool as a publisher because you can integrate ACX with your company and kind of facilitate it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
facilitate your authors with them and getting it done. And then when the book is done through ACX, it goes to iTunes and it goes to
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, it goes to
Mm-hmm.
Amazon and audible.com,
Mm-hmm.
and they distribute it for you and it puts it out there, which
Wow.
advertises the publishing company as well as the author. So
Wow.
so I would
Awesome.
check that out. They're really good people to work with.
Okay.
Um, and you can actually, the cool thing with them is um, you can come up with a script, like I want you to read these 2 paragraphs, or I want you to read these 3 poems. Okay. And you
Okay.
put a script out there and you open it up for auditions in your account,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you'll have voice talent contact you and go, I'd like to try out. I'd like to do a reading for you. And so you get voice talent reading your script, and you all you have to do is click play to hear their audition.
And
So
you get to choose, huh?
you can choose. It's like, I don't really like her voice. Oh, his voice
Oh.
is great. And I mean, Steve Stansel, I mean, he read a chapter from my book, and I went, whoa. Right. I mean, I listened to other auditions. I had like
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 to choose from, but when I got to his, it was right on the nose. Um, and my wife said, "Wow, that's a good voice," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah."
Did she
So
know who it was?
no, but he
Did,
he but he has a lady's voice, and he has a he's a great narrator. I mean, that's what he
right.
does. He does voiceovers, commercials and stuff. So yeah, um,
I would
you,
check that out.
yeah, you can do it for your books as well as help facilitate and coordinate it for your clients. Um,
Exactly.
so definitely check it out. You can have people read for you, and you decide which one and how you want to pay for it. Now, if you pay um, for the recording time and the voice, the actual narration, if you pay for it, then you retain all the profits, all the royalties from the audiobook sales. But for people that don't have that, it didn't cost me anything. My audiobook
Well,
cost
it
well,
sounds good to
it,
me.
it's made me quite a bit, but 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 I mean it
Sounds
didn't.
good to me.
Yeah, but it didn't cost anything to produce it. So
I just want to alliterate on my uh, website. I not only do books, I have mugs, candles, necklaces. I do all this myself. I have pillows. I have some custom made pillows, but I also do the majority of them myself.
oh
I make my
wow,
own candles, variety of everything. What else? Uh, what else is on there? I have mugs. I have journal books, book design, tote bags. I have hoodies and everything. And it, of course, is linked to my Life of a Damaged Person, my company and all of that. And I have that too on there. So basically, I'm not only a publisher, I'm also a sewer, a seamstress. I can't sit there and make a dress for you, but you give me time, I can. But pillows, I have computer laptops, mounts, what they call these things.
the mouse pads.
The mouse pads, yes, I have that. That's over there. The one that I have for my company is over there. But t-shirts, pens, I have a variety thing on caroldharper.com website.
And that will be in the show notes for sure. It's kind of like a bookstore
There
and,
you go.
and a boutique.
There you go.
That sounds awesome. Well,
Yes,
I
sir.
would encourage people to check that out. We will put Carol's website in the show notes so you can go and check out. I think they call it I think they refer to it on YouTube as
Yeah.
merchandise.
Merchandise, yes.
Yeah, but they refer to it, they abbreviate it and they call it merch. I heard that
Right.
on a YouTube channel and I went, what's a merch? And then
See, I just learned something. If you wouldn't have said merchandise, I wouldn't even know what it was.
yeah, they refer to it as, check out our merch below. And I'm like, what's a merch?
What's
And then it's like,
right,
oh, they sell stuff there. Cool. Okay.
right.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I just wanted to touch base. This came out June 5th.
oh, last,
Justice for All Equality.
this was just
It,
last month.
just last month. And it's
Awesome.
just a brief history for the young people. No matter what race you are, it doesn't matter. It's not racism, it's not nothing. It's just a little history because our younger people seem like they don't know where they come from these days. So that's why I wrote it for the young people.
Awesome. And that's Justice for All Equality.
Equality.
Excellent. Is that on Amazon too?
That is only on Amazon. I haven't uploaded it on my website yet, but you can get a personal copy from me if you want to. I'll mail it out to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It's
So,
on
but
Amazon.com.
all your books are on Amazon. They can find them at Barnes and Noble.
No.
Okay. Oh, I hear you.
Only The Life of a Damaged Person. Only this one because of the company that published it. That is on Barnes and Nobles. All my other books is just on Amazon. I
Oh,
love Amazon. I love working with Amazon.
yeah, they're good people, and I've had good luck with them. Their customer service people are awesome. Now, if they go to your website, um, if they go to your publishing website, um, are there links to books by other authors? Your
Mm,
clients?
no, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
This is my website. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
website. Okay. And you stroll down. It's a bundle. You get a bundle of the book,
Oh,
autograph book, pen, and a t-shirt for only $50.
gotcha.
And
Okay.
yeah, and it's candles.
Oh, cool.
I make those
The
myself.
the one-stop shop.
You at pillows, see the pillows? T-shirt, tote bags,
That's
journal book.
awesome.
There are the books. You see the books?
Yeah,
There's
there
the
they are.
books. See all those books? God is
Wow.
good. You see the hoodies, the caps. These are custom design. I have someone else that does that. But all the other stuff I do myself. There's the pen. There's the book. Jewelry. I forgot to mention that. Jewelry. I do jewelry. So I do jewelry. It's a multiples of things. Those are necklaces. That's what you see. So, oh, the pillows. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see, yeah, I can see the pillow. Okay, now
Yeah,
that
that's what I have.
that is awesome.
You didn't know
Um,
I had all that, did you?
no,
I
that's
surprised you.
it's kind of like it's like a baby Amazon.
Exactly. And more to come.
Awesome. Now that is your website. Does your publishing company have a separate website, or is it all at the one?
It's all at the one, but I have a Facebook page, Carol's Publishing Company. It's on Facebook. I push all of my things on Facebook. The same thing that you see, the majority of it is on Facebook. It's called Carol's Publishing Company, and that's how you can look me up on Facebook. And I have a branding and everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm coming out with a video soon.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say you don't have any spare time because you definitely are staying busy. That's for sure. Yeah.
I have a little downtime.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I just wanted the listeners to, I'll put the links in the show note for the website, the Facebook page, and because I want the listeners to be able to connect with you not only for your books, but if they are looking for publishing services,
Exactly.
that they can reach out to you as well. Um, yeah, this has been awesome. I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about the publishing company and the fact that you are doing other books. I think you are one of these publishers that are in it for the right reasons. You're in it to help other people get their message out and their story.
Hmm.
Um, and would you agree that everyone has a story? Some
Yeah,
are
exactly.
some are just reluctant to share. Uh,
Exactly.
no one would want to
Exactly.
hear it, and it's like you have no idea how many people need to hear it.
Exactly.
So I encourage all people to share their story for sure.
Exactly.
Um, well, Ed, as we wrap up, we're getting right down to the end of the episode. So, is there any parting words or anything that you'd like to share with the listeners? It's been a great interview, and I'm really glad that you came on the show. Um, your your book that I got is amazing. I'll do my best to try to check out some of the other ones and
Right.
refer you some baby authors that or baby writers that want to be authors. I'll try to refer you, a couple people that I know to you. So, what would you like the listeners to know about you and about life in general as we wrap up today?
Well, you heard everything about me, and I just want to push the TV and internet show. You can
Yes.
see it's Dr. James Small Business Network, a host of Dr. James Mcconnell Small Business, broadcasting each week live at 1 p.m. from Fishbowl Radio Network, Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. Small business and the life of a small business, the struggle and the triumph, daily operation, the grind, starting and running a business. So you can call him at 469-765-5327. We can brand your business. We can get your business branded. You can come on the show and do a talk interview. And the TV show is UAN Network in Mesquite, Texas, that we're on there every Saturday, first Saturday at the Dr. James Small Business Network.
Yeah, and that's the TV show that you're a co-host on, right?
I'm a co-host on the radio internet, and I'm a co-host on the TV show.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I tell you what, folks, we're gonna have a lot of links in the show notes. There's, we'll
Busy
have some.
lady, huh?
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a brief description of the episode, and then we'll go for more information. Follow the links below, and I'll just kind of, you know, I'll put them as bullet points. But we'll have lots of links because there's so many ways to connect with you,
It
which
is.
which tells me that you're on a mission. You are doing what you love to do. You're
Love it.
obviously passionate about what you're doing. Um, and from me to you, I'm sure little Carol is so happy
I
that
am.
big Carol is running the show because you're treating your baby self. You're treating her really well, and you're doing so good. And
Exactly.
I'm proud and I'm honored to be your friend and to have you on the show. You're making a huge difference. And you
Exactly.
started with yourself, and we all need to start with ourselves, and then beyond that, it's really kind of unlimited. Um,
Exactly.
and we probably would have never crossed paths. Texas is a big state. Uh,
Exactly.
and you meet a lot of people and you can go to all the major cities. You're still going to miss a lot of people. So
Exactly.
um, yeah, the internet, LinkedIn, we were able to cross our paths and find out a little about each other. But I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
um,
You're
you're
welcome.
doing some great things, and it'll be definitely beneficial for my listeners, to the podcast and to the YouTube channel, to find out more about what you're doing. You should be an inspiration to everybody out there that's
Thank
stuck,
you.
because it's like, some people are stuck on doing one or two things, and you probably have about 9 or 10 in any given day that you're doing. So that's great. Um, What would be your last word there before we let you go?
Well, my last word is that you can, for media information, you can Facebook, Carol's Publishing Company, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and my CDH podcast, Tell It Like It Is, Be Real on anchor.com. And to the listeners, no matter what you're going through, the words say the Lord will fight your battle. It looks like you can't make it through. It seems like the money is strange in this COVID-19. People are getting fired and don't have a job, don't have food to eat, but God is your supplier.
Absolutely. That's well said. We want to encourage all the listeners out there. Yeah, it's a tough time. It really is. Even though we're doing the social distancing and the masks, and we're opening and then we're closing and then we're opening and then we're closing, I think people are really frustrated. Um, I don't know about you, but I have found um, great resources and inspiration, and it's keeping my mind healthy by
Exactly.
connecting to people online, um,
Mm-hmm.
and the virtual networking. um, it'll never replace meeting people face to face and the one-on-one, but I think people are coming together and they're becoming stronger because they are reaching out to others. I think I see kind of a transition. People are getting away from the me mentality.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They're getting into the we.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting into reaching out to other people because, well, I mean, because they feel alone. They feel lonely because the
Exactly.
isolation. And so if nothing else, it was a good thing. Uh,
Exactly.
there was a good thing that came out of a bad thing, um,
Mm-hmm.
and people are connecting and being part of each other's lives. I call it connecting the dots, drawing your lines through the life of another person. So,
Exactly.
and helping them do the same. And if you connect
Exactly.
enough dots, you really can make a an awesome picture. It may be a
Exactly.
dot to dot picture, but the more dots there are, the better the picture is going to be.
Picture.
So
Exactly.
that's I'll leave it at that. Draw your line through the life of another, and help them, draw their line to the next dot that they may meet. So we'll leave it at that. Folks, this has been the Man at 50 podcast. I'm your host, Brad Richard. We have been speaking to Carol Poe Harper, and the 27 links will be in the show notes to connect with Carol, and her books and her publishing company, podcast, TV show, her merch, her merchandise.
Merchandise.
Yep, her merchandise that she has on her website, and all the great things that she is doing. We also talked about her book, The Life of a Damaged Person, and it is filled with amazing poems and inspirational messages from Carol. So once again, thank you for being on the show, Carol. Um,
Thank you.
it's been great. We're going to wrap it up, folks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us on the podcast, and we'll have another episode out in a week or so, depending on scheduling. But make sure you subscribe, support, and tune into the Man at 50 podcast. Until then, I'll end the way I always end: love your little me, and remember they are always with you. So take care, and love from Texas to all the listeners of the Man of 50 podcast. Take care. Bye for now. I want to welcome our latest sponsor to the Man at 50 podcast. The company's name is Pure Green, and they are one of the fastest growing juice and smoothie bar franchises in the U.S. They are taking on health straight on with some fantastic, healthy, delicious products. So I would encourage you to check them out at puregreen.com. That's puregreen.com. And I am very happy to be associated with the Pure Green family, and very happy that they are a sponsor of the show. This has been the Man at 50 podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us next week for our next episode and our next guest on the show. Visit us on the web at www.bradrichard.net. That's www.bradrichard.net. Until next time, take care.